NQ RDR fam. Hope everybody's doing well. Excuse me. Uh, haven't seen you guys in a few days. Seems like it's been a while, but yesterday we did not have any pure DR trades. Had some trades, but not pure DR trades. And then Monday was our Founders Day for my fraternity, and yeah, had some things to do. So anyway, glad to be back. Hope everybody again is doing well. I did post a picture yesterday of kind of the nothingness that we had as far as DR goes. There were a lot of trades, but they were not DR trades, so I feel it wasn't necessary to kind of jump on and ramble about nothing. All right, so but let's talk about today. And today was actually a pretty good DR day, as well as some other things. But as usual, we have our ES on the left side, we have our NQ on the right side, looking at the 5 minute chart. Range wise, using the ES, we had about a 21 point range today, so right in our wheelhouse. Well, it's interesting if you look at this, you look at the top of on the ES on the left side, you notice we have a bearish fair value gap, and that's a weekly, all right? So that's a pretty strong fair value gap. And notice that we actually came down off of that. Now, one thing I will say is, I'm always busy at work, but I've been really busy the last few days, and so a lot of my trades have actually been before DR. So using some other concepts to, and also trading at night, using on the Asian session. Um, I've been finding some success there on the NQ side. Now on the ES side, ES side is very slow moving during those times, but NQ, again with this technology focus, tends to continue to deliver, pretty good movement as far as price goes. All right, so but we'll talk about today. Again, had done most of my damage. I did most of my damage before the market, before ES kind of set up, before DR set up, and then toward the end of the day, I did catch that 3 o'clock ish trade, which was kind of that's where I got most of the gains for today. What I will say is the last few days have been very consistent, um, and I'm being a lot more disciplined in what I'm doing. And part of that is I'm talking to people about how to do this. So I can't tell them what to do if I'm not going to do it. So it's been allowing me to be a little more disciplined, and you know, it's interesting because sometimes you get in a situation where you're up a lot and you lose some, and you go some more, you lose some more, and by the time you're done, you're like, oh, I could have just did my one trade and I would have been done, right? And so that's what I'm trying to get to is just feeling comfortable, and that's what's happened the last few days. Like I just couldn't physically trade because of meetings and things going on. So once I made my target for the day, I just kind of just shut down the chart until I could actually get back to it and trade again. Whereas in the past, I would spend a lot of time trying to like sneak a look at the chart and see what's happening, and try to jump in a trade real quick, and that just doesn't work out well. So anyway, enough rambling on that stuff. But anyway, so let's talk about today. And let's go, we're looking at the chart side by side, but let's go through, and they do kind of match up. And today was just an NQ day. Actually, my last week and so has been really just NQ days. I use kind of the ES as kind of a barometer because it is a little more smooth, right? If you can tell by how the charts are set up. Oops, sorry guys. ES is definitely more smooth, right, compared to NQ, which is much more choppy. So I like to use the ES as kind of the barometer of what's going to happen on NQ, and play it that way. All right, well let's zoom in on ES real quick. We'll pull today up. All right. So, a nice. Let me put this back up a little bit. Okay. So a pretty nice ES day. Won't go through the bias part. Like I said, we came off this fair value gap, that weekly bearish fair value gap. So my expectation was we kind of have a bias that way. The setup was a bias that way as well. Prior to that, we were actually moving up into that fair value gap, so it kind of made sense. And you notice in here, we also had another bearish fair value gap on that 5 minute, so that you see a lot of action here, for price to push this up down. So if you were, a little more aggressive, or you're doing like ICT concept, there's a trade in here somewhere that you could have taken. But if you're doing straight DR, we came down here. We actually, wicked below, but then we didn't close below. So that's not, we're not confirmed, right? We stick to the rules. So we don't confirm until it's very long candle, which is, I mean, that's really, if I look at that, that's what, about a 6 point candle. So actually more than a 6 point candle. It's probably about a 7, 8 point candle. So if you were in here, then you'd have been, you'd have had your day would have been done. Okay. But that's not the rules, right? So we stick to the rules. And so we come back up, and it's kind of hard to see, but there is another bearish fair value gap back there. All right. And so I see price come. So, we confirm, we come back up. Now, if you look at where we're retraced to, we're in that bearish fair value gap. We retrace just above the DR low. And so price, we put an order there, and boom, there's your trade, right? And that was the only trade, really, again, pure play DR trade that you could have taken. I mean, there are other trades here, again, more fair value gap trades you could have looked at, but again, and this one was a really nice one toward the end of the day, or toward the end of the day. So, again, ES much slower, not as sporadic as NQ, but also probably not as profitable if you're trading, unless you're trading an aggressive style. All right. Okay, so that's ES, and we'll pop over to NQ. NQ is, now I did actually have a loss on NQ today for my first trade, and I'll show you why. But then definitely made that up toward the back end. All right, so you can just look at the candles here on NQ and see how a lot of wicks, a lot of up and down movement. I don't know, I can't shrink that much further without it messing up. But anyway, so we'll try it that way. All right. Okay, so if you look at NQ, where did we actually confirm? We confirmed down here. All right, back up and then back down again, right? So great. Order goes on IDR. Now let me show you why. And this is me still, let's try it that way. That's much better. Okay. So this is me still really trying to figure out what my risk tolerance is for NQ. I'll be honest. Okay, because we confirmed low, we came back up, went all the way back up here. Okay, no problem. My order has been on IDR, right? Because if we look down here, right, once we confirmed low, then we shot back up. Okay, first order was here. Price kept moving up, right? Moving up above IDR. Second order was here, still on IDR. And then, we didn't get back up to the 0.5 fib, which is a little further up here. So we started coming back down again. All right. And if you look at it, where I got picked up at was on that red candle right there. Now, that's great. But what happens next? Okay. On ES, I already know I have a 5-point stop loss. On NQ, I'm not sure yet. Honestly, I'll be honest. I mean, I can look at it from a numbers perspective, but the way that NQ moves, even if I'm down a lot, it can turn back around in a second, right? And so I'm trying to be cognizant of that, and I don't want to get myself stopped out too quickly, but I just have to find where I'm comfortable. So still working on that. Have definitely expanded my stop loss on NQ a lot more than I had originally. I tried to play it like ES at first, but that just doesn't work well. So I've expanded, I've taken more risk on, but I still don't know if I've taken enough risk on for it to do what it needs to do, okay? And so what I mean by that is when I got picked up here, all right, price goes back up, and like I got stopped out on this green candle with that little, where that wick was, okay? Now, so that's, if I look at that, that's about 15,896 up to 15,916. So what's that, 20 something points? 20 something points. All right. So that's a pretty big, to me, that's a pretty big stop loss or range, right? So that's what, if it's 20 points, that's what, $400 per contract. So I'm just not really sure yet. All right. So I did get stopped out there. But again, as we say, follow the rules. So the next thing I did, once I got stopped out up here, was order right back on the DR. on the IDR in this case. All right, and price shoots down, get picked up, and we made that loss up in no time. Like I said, price moves very quickly on NQ. So once I got picked up here, boom, all the way down here. So we've more than made up for that loss there. Okay, and then we just kept it going. All right, so price comes back up. Now we did have a bearish fair value gap up here, so I wanted price to get back up here above the IDR again, but it actually never made it. So again, we followed the rules. Okay, all right, so price comes back up above the DR line. All right, orders on DR. All right, price comes back down. My stop up here, so didn't get stopped out here. Boom, another nice trade here. Okay, and then we do it again, right? It's like rinse and repeat. So price comes back up, order on the DR, DR line. We get picked up, a little bit of a retrace, a little bit of heat, then boom, back down here, and then the piece de resistance, as they say in French. We have up here, and then same thing, right? Order on DR, price goes up, picks us, and then it comes back down, picks us up, and then we are gravy, right? So really 4 very simple, nice trades on DR, just following the rules with that, right? Did have a loss, but that's, again, it's expected. It's not 100% strategy. No strategy is. If anybody tells you that, yeah, never mind. All right, just don't believe them. This is a 70-80% strategy, so it's supposed to fail 30% of the time, and so I'll take that, right? So I can't get too down about it because that's supposed to happen. All right, so really nice trade hit. Now, when did I get out? Notice down here. Let me get rid of all this stuff so I can move this up a little bit. All right, we have this nice big green. I think I just messed that up. Nice big green bullish fair value gap. All right, down in that big, right? All this is that fair value gap. Once price got down into it, I closed the trade. Okay. And I will tell you what I did. I did have a stop loss. Again, this is NQ, so I'm still getting used to it. So I had a stop loss, but I did not have a true take profit. Okay. I didn't turn that. I said, let me just see what happens, and I'll just manually close it out. Once I saw us getting close down to the fair value gap, and that's a weekly bullish fair value gap, I said, cool. You know what? When it gets down there, I'll just cut the trade. So I did cut the trade once we got into the green, and again, really nice trade there. And the rest of the day, yes, I could have held it, but because it did come back up into this fair value gap. But again, we can only be so greedy about some of this stuff, right? There are people who would die for a strategy that is this simple and this repeatable. So I'm not gonna be upset about that. Again, we did have some more movement here. If you're ICT, you could have even had this trade here. We went back up into this fair value gap. So again, a lot of opportunities there today. Really, really easy. I keep saying easy, and I apologize for that. This is not easy, right? This is repeatable. Okay. If you follow the rules, this is repeatable. All right. Once we get out of, like, if you looked on ES, we only had 1 trade today. That was it from a DR standpoint. Here we had like 4, right? And so that's why, I do like to kind of put them side by side and see how they react to price, and then make my move off of that, right? So I was talking to one of the gentlemen that follow me, and we were talking about, like, this was yesterday, I think, and price made a move. And he said, how did you know that price? So, he said, what caused that move to happen? I think the price just dropped. And my comment back to him was, I don't know, right? I said, but I don't think about it. I just react to it, right? And that's what I want you to think about, right? Because we're trading. We're not investing. Right? If I'm investing, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to make sure long-term I'm being in good shape. But when I'm trading, I'm just trading in the moment. And I'm trying to understand what price did or what price is going to do based off of what I use as my indicators for that, right? So if I see a fair value gap, I'm anticipating price to react in that fair value gap, right? If I see price get down to a sell side liquidity or up to a buy side liquidity, I'm expecting a certain reaction. And when I see it, I jump into a trade because that's what I'm expecting to happen. Now, am I going to be right all the time? No, not at all, right? Don't want to be, right? If I was right all the time, then I wouldn't have a 9 to 5 because I'd be doing this, you know, all day long, right? And all night long, which, one day that may happen, but right now, yeah, that's not where we are. So anyway, just wanted to say, just this strategy is not for everybody. And it's not complicated. I think we overcomplicate it sometimes. I know I do sometimes. But adding, DR, a little bit of ICT, and I just, it becomes a very, again, a repeatable process for me, a repeatable trading strategy, which is what you really want. So anyway, soapbox over, rant over, all that good stuff is over. You can tell I missed you guys because I've been talking for way too long. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Again, as always, hope you guys had a great day. Appreciate all the support and questions, comments. You know what to do with them. Drop them in the little comment box. And I will talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. We'll see what the market does tomorrow. So, like we always say, love on your loved ones, because you never know when you won't be able to do it again. So take advantage of each and every opportunity. All right. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you later.